Hey guys, and welcome back to my Georgia campaign, but that's not a standard campaign. We started as Georgia Orthodox. We changed into the Turkish culture, so I could join the Rise of the Turks situation and use it to expand in Anatolia. I also changed my religion to Sunni in order to be able to expand to Persia really hard. The goal, it's still hidden, I'm not gonna reveal everything, but the goals, I plan at least one more culture and one more religion change. For now, no changes. The next step is to make sure I finish the Turkish situation, because if you're not the Ottomans and you finish the situation, you get all the Ottoman advances upon finishing it. The best way for me to finish it with the amount of the subjects is to get 500 locations. You see, we're still far away from it. I'll be steadily getting there. There's an Easter sale going on in the partner of this channel, anover.com. Make sure to check the link in the video description, because on top of what you're seeing over here, I have a 10% discount code for you guys to use to get yourself a new game from Easter. Finally, docks are unlocked. And that's important for us because we want to spread the maritime presence from our local governor in Trebizond. And for that I've been preparing for all these towns being created. I can follow up with first the docks and then the barracks to get more maritime presence, and also very importantly more harbor capacity to spread that proximity. On top of docks that give harbor capacity and monthly sailors, protected harbor also gives even more of harbor capacity, and it's also quite useful because it creates the demand for various goods. You guys are gonna hate it, but I'm actually getting rid of the Georgian culture. It takes a lot to accept. You see, it's 1.1 of the capacity it's taking, and it's not so many locations that have this culture. So I'm making it less than 50% in my homeland. Sorry. So I have space for the other cultures to be accepted. I also have Svan culture tolerated and Lesgin tolerate. I should cancel both, to be honest. And that's fortunately not costing me anything. So we have almost one capacity. Could I accept ACHAEMENID for that? No. But good news is that I've got Shirvan as my subject. So be able to, in some time when the cooldown ends, I'll be able to ask them to improve opinion of the Turkish culture. Oh no, it's even for the leader of the Turks. Granada is asking for help. Alas, you cannot help. This area has a few literally important locations. This will be full course because that's a Turkish culture area next. Bailis. Bailis all the way. Ideally, it might be too far away from the governor, but ideally you should also spread it via the navy. But for now, Bailis will be good enough. Also, you know, same for Sinop, I did the Bailiff in here to have stronger control. Still shit. This will be a path that of all stuff we need. Guarantee for cabinet seat, grand power, and cultural stuff, that's important. And here we'll have a march. We'll have culture's capacity, power projection for faster coring. CB creation is actually underrated as well. Here building cost, here under buildings cost, and see we already mixing bonuses from two sources. Splendor of Anatolia is for being Anatolia Beylik. Legacy of Tamar is for, I think, Georgia, and David the Builder is also Georgia. That's a long and very broad category key that we are seeing. That new guarantee form I'm gonna use for feudal nobility, which is gonna give me loyalty of subjects, noble estates, to tax them more. I'm just not so sure about the traditional economy, because at one point I'd like to go, and that soon, towards capital economy. But I will need loyalty of subjects now because they're getting disloyal soon. And that's what will slow down my expansion now, meaning that I can't create many more subjects than what I have now. I have to focus on annexing what I have. So we're creating just a tiny bit of them and try coring the locations that I will be conquering by myself. We've hit 500 base stacks, and that has been done pretty much, but by increasing the amount of the urban locations, creating more demand from our estates, especially in these locations, and getting buildings to fulfill that demand, and also obviously increasing our proximity and control. You see, there's some proximity coming from the navy already, but we are not fully there yet. It's often very important to have a breadbasket, at least of your node, of your home nodes, and then also the other nodes as you expand. That's what I did with this location of wheat, where you see it has 30,000, yet I did not urbanize it, because wheat is a great source of food. I maximized the RGO here, and I have to also make sure that I follow it up with other buildings, like farming villages. These are not bringing income, but fruit orchard seem to be also quite worth it. And would we be able to build irrigation? There's no irrigation here. Why is farming village not so good? Yeah, but still, you see, this is bringing 191 of the food, which is good enough for the market. Just take a look at the trap zone where it is based. It's in plus 800. The police index by having also plus 800. You can see that Georgia just takes 0.8 already. I probably just need to get rid of them in the Samska that I just annexed. But since I unlocked plus 1 max culture capacity from an advance, now I can go ahead and accept Atari that takes 2. Before I do that, I'm gonna improve my opinion of them again. And now once I get 5 of prestige, I'm gonna accept it to get all of this court. And look, I do have a lot of locations in here. We are 100 years into the game, which means Age of Discovery started. That gives me a choice of focuses. This is very much colonization focused, not so much useful in the military. So go for the admin, which gives me efficiency of the cabinet, pop conversion speed, assimilation conversion speed, building cost, speed of integration, trade capacity, iron and copper output, and urban building costs. There's another 20% building costs we are unlocking. These are also the perfect borders for just 100 years of gameplay, aren't they? Printing press, as usual, on that patch started in China. They should stop this. Packing shot started in Narbonne. And the new word, well, it can't really happen in our country. It's most likely gonna be, it is surely gonna be some Iberians. My subjects have roughly 130,000 of an army. Oh, what an opportunity. I know it from some other game. Small Eastern Roman Empire, free to be grabbed. Maybe they will make my march to then reconquer all this. I'm also wondering if, as a leader of the Turks, would I get the City of the World's Desire event, or is it reserved for the Ottomans? Classical era of the Sultanate of Georgia. I did get an event, but that's to become an empire. What was the requirement? Is it hitting 300 locations? The drums of conquest and triumphant and the banners of the Beylik of Ottomans now I'm not an Ottoman, now stretch across the continent from the ashes of Eastern Rome. We are of the country rank of an empire. Okay, that's good on a few levels, because empire is an additional cabinet seat that I will use to integrate stuff and assimilate, as you're seeing. And that should be also a great power score. So actually surpass Egypt as a great power. There we go. Are we close to becoming a hegemon? I doubt. Money? We are number, not that low, we are number 4. Military? We are number 5. Diplo? We are number 2. So if I use the Diplo rep advice, I would have it. And culture-wise, I'm number 2. Obviously, China would be harsh to beat, but I'll beat it at one point. There's also so much more diplomatic capacity, but I'm having 63 subjects already. So the only subjects that I'll be creating now, in the near future, are marches. Because see, fiefdoms have modifier 31 for the combined strength. That was Vassal 31. Fiefdoms have 25. Marches are not having anything. This guy just simply hates me. Oh, and since we became an empire, I have another local governor that I'm unlocking, and there will be another one in Age of Discovery now. I should start planning where to put the next one. Being an empire is also additional 2 of culture's capacity they can leverage, and that's not that easy of a choice, because we've got Iraqi down in the south, got Kurdish a bit up north, got Athari which I already accepted. There's Armenian as well, but I think on assimilate Armenian that should be fine. This is between Iraqi and Kurdish. What are the costs? 2.2, 1.2. So Iraqi is also much cheaper. Also it has less pops. We've got a Kurdish subject that is dominant, so we could improve their opinion of Turkish. And we also do have Iraqi subject. But anyway, the timer for this, I think it ends in a few years, in a year or two. I'll use it to improve Athari opinion of our religion. But yeah, for now, I will go and accept. I have enough, right? Kurdish 1.7. No, I don't have enough. So actually, Iraqi is kind of forced on me. And it is not gonna give me that much initially, just dislocations, because I have to core the others and annex the subjects around here. These are our borders by the start date of EU4. Let me actually show you in a version of blended color. Yeah, it's kind of messy to be honest, but you can clearly see where are my own terrains already. I probably have to just release subjects in here. There it is. Cooldown. I think it's like 50 years or so on that cooldown. It's not an easy of a choice, but I think I'll go for the Athari culture again. So Shirvan. So now you see this only cost me 1 of culture's capacity, so I still have 1.2 more that I could use. If Armenian is too expensive, Lure would be almost enough. Let's look, not that many pops. This will be easy to be assimilated. So for now, let's not accept anyone. Since one of our kids, let's see, you see, this is our kids, they're having okay stats. This, you know, I just got on the throne with that current ruler. Nothing crazy, but the youngest son, 6 years old, is a prodigy. Having that in mind, I think it is time finally to go and change our succession law to the favored son, which is gonna take mostly into account the skill of our children. That's obviously costing both legitimacy and stability, but I have both, so that's fine. Here we go, 1,000 of base tax. We are also about to hit 500 locations. Once we do, we're gonna finish the Ottoman situation. Normally I wouldn't want that, but since we're not the Ottomans but someone outside, we want that situation to finish. And I'm also having, you see, more locations not being only integrated, but also full cores as we managed to play around with the cultures. You see, we are just on the limit. I stopped accepting, sorry guys, Georgian, because it didn't does not really have any more locations, and I accepted Armenian instead. You see also improving Turkish view of some cultures like Athari and Armenian. Why? Some of you might already have some ideas about it. You know, since we have so many wives for males, we already also hit 500 characters in our country. Since you can, you know, move around the local governors, I'm already gonna create one here in Sultaniyeh. It's because it's a city, we have full calls around. There's a river close by, not too good topography, so it's pretty bad, and you know, like generally for a local governor. But since I don't have a better place for now, I can just use it temporarily in here, and you know, then just switch to some better placement later on. And that's how it looks like. You know, not the best, could be better, but that's still some improvement. Even some next play locations some of them don't have a road, so I'll probably follow up with some roads, just so I have to do it here for the trains I got from Shirvan. I actually think I already have a better governor place. I don't have any more limit, right? Let's see, local governor 2. But I could actually think about, just look, this, I need some mouthtick, because there's an extra subject. This potentially gives me more than this. I mean, there's a silver mine here. It's worth just for that silver mine the time being. So I could replace this governor. Sorry guys, you were not here for long. With one in here. That's an interesting choice because I could do Basra. And then it obviously has rivers going into all these directions. Or I could go farther up here. So I could go more north. But less rivers to spread. I think I'll do Basra because of that. Oh, why I can't build it here? Doesn't have the road connection to the capital, does it? Well, I wouldn't say that's probably an issue because since it was here, this is connected. And then here. And then here go straight to Basra. To build a governor you need a direct road connection to the capital. They told you that Basra is gonna be a great source of local governor, and it's not only because the reasons that I already mentioned, but also look how many people are living around here. Just perfect. In Age of Discovery, the first institution I could unlock was Pike and Shot. And in here, I'm pretty sure there was another local governor to be unlocked. There we go. Next, I've got the next guarantee form. There's more cultures capacity here. House of the Parliament was giving crown powers. Let's also take it. There is another cultures capacity here. I should unlock the new unit types. It's not so important. The other trees should have more useful stuff. But let's see. From Georgia, I have the expected cost of the court. There's culture capacity here from Persian in the court, which I assume is the Anatolian Beylik. Another one for Anatolian Beylik is here, the crossroads of commerce. Yes, let's just focus on this couple of advances for now. I will think about the units later if they're my first or secondary or like third choice. When you have 15 kids, there's a high chance of having a prodigy, right? And when the prodigy has 10 of kids, there's another high chance of having prodigy daughter, but she's still gonna be my heiress, prodigy son as well. It's time to finish the Turks situation. It's not great because I'm gonna lose this guarantee form. Culture tradition, 5% monthly control, so it's updated immediately after I do some stuff. Speed of integration, it's a free guarantee form and also gives diplomatic capacity. I'm already much below it because I stopped doing as many subjects, but we have to move forward. And I'll tell you why this is worth it to do what we want to do. Let me just get that forward. Now to tell you what will happen, you see we have 10 unique advances now for being Georgia. Okay, let me go back to the game and piece these guys out. That's perfect borders. Let's give it a month tick. Oh, not even a month tick. Rise of the Turks, you see it's finishing. This will last forever. We'll unlock, instead of what we are just losing, Legacy of the Turks. That still gives cultural influence, still gives is a free guarantee form, gives me right slaves, so you know, nothing crazy. We do get an ALS division policy enacted in the administrative system. So that will be instead of the legitimacy that I was getting so far. And this gives us proximity speed through land. Super useful, as well as satisfaction with the estates. As well as Pasha's guarantee form, which gives us crown power, which is 5%, but more importantly, yet another cabinet member. So it's not that tragic. Yeah, we are Empire already. Now I'll wait for these two current reforms to be enacted before we do our next actions. In the meantime, just, you know, steadily annexing more and more subjects. You can see that we finished the legacy of the Turks situation. Not that we finished the rise of the Turks situation. You see, we have all the Turkish historical events. I already got one. And I have all of the Turkish advances and all of the Georgian advances. So if I go back to the game, you'll see that in Age of Traditions, we've got Uzbek, we've got speed of integration, which I'm gonna go for sure, with more manpower, more discipline. In Age of Renaissance, there is one culture's capacity, there's garrison stuff, Timur system is cav bonus. Let's take it. There are the Janissaries. You get manpower from slaves, so that's pretty useful. Let's go for it. Age of Discovery that we are in already, obviously still unlocking some institutions. This I already had for being a Beylik. There's proximity speed here. There's improved relations. It's updated Janissaries. Actually, I shouldn't take the Janissary units in here, in that tree, since I'll be getting a new Janissaries, but the barracks will be still of use. That also means I don't need all the advances in here. Do I need this path at all? Well, let's maybe just... yeah, it's all useful. Then Age of Reformations, you know, you saw my Ottomans campaign, right? I'll be getting all the Ottomans advances in the future ages as well, but we're not done here yet. See? Already events, you know, there'll be a lot of events, you know, with the start date so much earlier than we are right now, but with end date later. I will be getting them right now. Because this, for example, makes our heir a ruler, which is not bad. Our ruler is 57, heir is 171, but it takes stability. I'm gonna wait. This guy will die any moment now anyway. I'll need stability for the other movements. We proclaimed a diplomatic hegemony. I'm about to lose it. But yeah, oh, it's diplomatic. I thought it's culture. We're also close here. Well, that's fine. Look at this beautiful proximity. It's actually spreading so much nicer here, even though it's 80 of source versus my capital, which is because obviously of topography and the rivers. I'll also need barracks here to spread the maritime presence, so I have a better proximity through the navy. Yeah, see, there's number 6 committed member that we just unlocked. I'll make sure to use him to core the rest of the locations in here. Okay, now that I say 14,000. First thing I have to do is to move my capital. I'll move that capital to... let's see... how about to Sultaniyeh? So what was my temporary local governor. With the city moved here, I'm not even looking at the proximity. It's gonna be to like total shit. But with this moved, I'll go... I told you guys, I'll not stay Turkish in this campaign. That's why I've been improving opinion of ACHAEMENID recently, so I can go ahead and keep my legitimacy and stability yet again to change my main culture to ACHAEMENID, which allows me to form Persia. And you can also clearly see now, with the borders, especially now that I'm no longer ready like Serbia, I've been building the whole time ACHAEMENID's empire. Darius the Great borders are here. From my checks, I would just need to go a bit here and go towards Egypt, which will be my last like expansion goal in this campaign. But now that I formed Persia, let me show you something. First of all, we're losing the Anatolian Beylik. Unfortunate, that was a cabinet seat. A few advances that were useful, but I was prepared for that loss. You see, now we are up to 76 advances. We've got all the Georgian advances, we've got all the Ottoman advances, you know, and we've got all the Persian advances. Let's see what Persian advances offer. In H1, we've got the jurisprudence and stability decay. In H2, there's city and town right cost 25%. That's actually insane. Let's go for it. As well as food production. I will not reject it, especially that, you know, the previous age advances are cheaper. Well, this is also not bad. In the age of discovery that we are currently in already, we're getting 33% cloth output. This is the Ottoman one, cultural influence. There's another Persian, there's another cavalry bonus, the one from Ottomans, and now also from Persia. In the next age, now I have to check, okay, is it from Ottoman, is it from Persia? It's 5% income from minting from Georgia. Gilmans are unique Persian infantry units with increased initiative. And also manpower building, but also Chinese are musketeers. There's new artist skill in Age of Absolutism, efficiency of the cabinet. Georgia has proximity speed. Another new unit type, Tofangchi, new Janissaries, but also unique artillery. I did not see a unique artillery before. They have 25% boomboard efficiency. Strength damage down 20%, and yet another unit infantry type for the Age of Revolution, so I don't think I'm gonna play that far. But yeah, the most interesting part, I'm not done here yet. The question is how much I want to kill everything in the country. I think I would just start with simply switching back my capital to Tbilisi. I was well established there and it would be a shame to lose that. That's why I was saving money. Now I'll take a moment to recover my stability and legitimacy before I move my before I make my next moves. You see, accepting Turkish, even though it's a huge culture, it's only 2 of culture's capacity, because I made sure that their opinion of us is as good as possible. But we are still heavily over the limit, and that's because Armenian and Iraqi cost me more than before. So. And that high culture is dead anyway, so actually that's not that tragic. What modifiers is it giving me except that? Yeah, efficiency of the cabinet hurts. But how much of efficiency of the cabinet do we have outside of it? It's negative now. It's not my final catch. I'll be switching it again, but it's gonna take time to rebuild this. Questions, do you want to switch culture immediately? Because now, guys, I want to switch it to Armenian, because Armenian has yet more advances that I will need. But see, we anyway have to wait a decade. The question is, what do we do in that decade with being so much over the capacity? I think I'm just gonna let it like that. For now, the only thing that hurts me is the efficiency of the cabinets. I don't care about that high culture, it can die. But what I can do, since I plan to end up Armenian, just like so. Same as I made sure that Turkish is kindred towards Armenian, maybe you have noticed that. I will do the same right now with Athari towards Armenians. It's gonna be easier for me to accept Athari later on. I could get for 3,000 like as a city builder, but he's 64 years old! Imagine combining that with that Persian advance we don't have yet. The reformer of the army, lawgiver. That's actually quite nice. Oh, yes, I cannot afford to give it to 64 years old guy. With another local governor unlocked, let's get him yet again in that location. The people of Sultania, there must be very confused on what the hell is happening. What do you want these guys from Tbilisi? Now we got the new role after that event chain, and he's gonna be here for a while, 33 years old, and my heir is already 16. Which means I can make sure he has all the young spouses in the world. So we get another prodigy from his children. Yeah, so you see now it looks not bad with the governors. Could be better, of course, but I'm kind of proud of it. I think it would be better if I had a governor in Ankara or Constantinople, but I'll have to start annexing these subjects at last. The Rags of Persia, and I think it has its unique art, gives me a choice about 3 bonuses. Rag Monopoly, that gives outputs of this 3. increasing rack trade for the trade advantage, or steady rack production for 20 years for that production efficiency. And since this impacts all of the production, not just these free goods from the monopoly, I'm gonna go for the third bonus. It's gonna increase my tax base from 1526, and let's give it a month tick, to 1561. City of the World's Desire, on the other hand, would allow me to get to Constantinople a second capital bonus for the development growth, or just decrease prosperity there and get money. But I think I will go for that second capital bonus. This might be a governor seat in the future. I could convert to schism, which gives pop conversion speed, percentage, and flat. Schism itself gives all these bonuses to the some morale. The others are really similar to Sunni, but no, I'm gonna stay as I am, and 20 stability I can recover. Obviously to lose it in a few years, but that's something. And since I've been working to recreate, more or less the ACHAEMENID Empire borders, this peace deal on Serbia is crucial to achieve that. Let's take a look. That's much better. Obviously we shouldn't have Southern Greece, but I'm feeding all of that into Eastern Roman Empire. Obviously, except Constantinople, they cannot have that much of autonomy. This has to stay ours. And everything else is being fed into them, so we're creating a strong empire here. It's time, guys. It's time to kick ass of the Egyptians, just like the Persians, I guess, are supposed to do. We can go for Aintab, which is just bordering here. The goal will be generally to get the war goal, defend it, and then try getting as many forces as possible. War school will be high for these terrains because they have a goddamn local governor. I could move my capital to Kazvin, but this is not a great placement, and I have a local governor just next by. So no, I'm not gonna do that. Let's keep it in Tbilisi. And that's a tricky war. So they have altogether 150,000, we have 177. But it's all in the hands of Egypt, so that's making it more tricky. I do have 15,000 of standing army, and that's what I want to leverage to just, target the non-standing armies. Plus, Egypt is busy fighting Yemen as well, at least for a little bit more. We can use that to siege down some forts. For now, my subjects are winning an actual battle over there. Yep, they won. They won. It's a miracle. Better organized subjects than the AI enemy. But yeah, they are now falling back. Let me try sieging this down in the meantime. And this is what happens when I catch their levies with a standing army. Remember, they still have a big standing army, just not around here. And my bad that they attacked with low morale, so I might still lose that battle. But I think with the damage that we are doing, yeah, we have high chance of winning that. If one of the flanks run out of people before ours, it's actually pretty much all about that. Yeah, my flank ran out first since they've been reinforcing, which is fine. Oh, I want to see the losses. They've lost 14,000 in that battle. But I can come back for round 2. Or help my subjects with round 2. So this is a massacre, especially if they don't have the quantity advantage that they have had in the previous battle. Foreign culture law, that's gonna be useful long term. Culture's capacity is being added in here. And so we reduced the Mamluks levies already to just 51,000. Let's separate Islam, because this is more or less also what we need to achieve in that peace deal for that, at least according to some of the maps. And then we see Jarvarids. What Egyptian army, guys? 17,000, only like 4,000 of it is a standing army. They've lost 120k. We've lost war, but that's my subjects mostly. I myself lost just 17,000. You see, in the meantime, I started improving relations with Romania, Serbia, and LAM, just to avoid them joining the coalition. I guess you all know, but in case you don't, right? Improve relation counts towards antagonists, just like info in didn't. I mean, if you had positive relations, they wouldn't join the coalition. In this case, there's the same rule, but on top of that, improving relations is actually decreasing the antagonism calculation. There's obviously other stuff impacting the antagonists as well, But this is a game changer, so it's always important to have that in mind when you're expanding. Since they are about to enforce peace on us, let me piece this out. Most importantly, I'm cutting off their homeland from everything east. I'm taking their local governor. Then let me just fill with a few more locations. So we get to as much as they're gonna accept. Okay, something like that. We make sure that we do this. We're getting there, fixing the borders in here. I'll keep fixing that further. Now if you give them a month, you'll see that their proximity will be much worse. Yeah, look at this. They have to spread it navally now, which doesn't look too good. I'm pretty sure I can take all of this in the next war. There goes another culture's capacity. We already increased it up to 6. See, I'm still above it, but not for too long. After these 2 wars that I'm running now, which is fixing borders wars, I'm gonna change my culture to the one that I'm gonna stay with until the end of the game. Okay, I promise that's the last culture change, but an important one. We're gonna change our culture to Armenian. Again, paying a lot of stability and legitimacy for that. Now remember, I was increasing Athari and Turkish view of Armenian. So see, this cost me just 0.9 of culture capacity. This cost me just 2. So I'm actually now below my culture's capacity. Why is it not showing us accepted or not accepted? Okay, now it's updated. We have the Iraqi, and obviously for the others I don't have capacity, but I'll be working towards getting it. Now, why did I pick this culture? When you go to the Armenian culture bonuses, there's plenty. It's pretty much as many as Turkish, I think. Look, on tier 1, army morale. On tier 2, pop conversion speed, small fleet development, so very useful. The pro rep, tax efficiency, army maintenance, army tradition, even production efficiency. But you might have noticed I skipped one of the advances. This is why I'm taking it. Mountains proximity impact minus 66%. And reminder, if you go to the topography, right, you have a decent amount of the mountains to leverage for it. I'm not gonna break my queue. I'm too lazy to get back and redo everything. I'll instead go straight to the first age and take the Mount Arad into the queue. Another Turkish advance for culture's capacity. We've got a limit of 7.2, so I have 1.6 more I could use already. So Iraqi is 2.6. I'm already using Kurdish is 3.6, that's too much. Farsi is 3.4, also too much. It's the only 2 that I will be accepting in the game. I guess the best solution is to go and enforce cultures on the guys that are still Kurdish. And I'll do the same actually with the guys that are still Farsi to decrease the power of these cultures. What I can also do, because now is the cooldown, I can ask some of these cultures to improve opinion of us. Let's see, 3.6. I think Kurdish is gonna be the most worth it because it's just I'm already around. But do we have anyone from the Kurdish culture to do so? I actually do not. So Farsi would be the easiest choice. Too Farsi in that situation. So now this cost me 2.6, which is still a bit too much to accept. I will have to wait for it to weaken. Truces are much shorter in U5 versus U4, so I can already go after Egypt again. Just enough time to go for a civil war, change that culture, force some cultures. This is great timing. I broke you guys' alliance and you realized obviously. Egypt is not as strong as in the previous war. You see, they did recover some levies, but not all of them, and they have much less of a standing army. So the restoration of cities advance reached. Let's see how much it cost me to create a town first. A town costs me, this is 260, but I don't have good trade goods there. This is around 220. And creating a city costs me around 1.1 thousand. We managed to rebalance our subjects split so much that you see vassals now don't have any modifier for being disloyal. Marches have no modifier for being disloyal. And fiefdoms have just -1 modifier for being disloyal, which means I can spam more subjects after the next war with Egypt. This is when taking the peace deal itself. You see it's quite strong, and honestly I don't really want to expand anymore into Egypt. Took all the low control stuff. The only thing that is left is obviously fixing the borders with dual carriers. It's also time to change the feudal nobility in here. I don't really need that anymore with, reduced quantity of subjects. Let's change it into much increased crown power because we've got so much serfdom. Legacy of the Turks is also free. Technically, if I take it, once I embrace it's gonna be free, and so then I will be able to also take this. Honestly, I will be just like, what, half of culture capacity if I accept Farsi. It's actually worth it to get a decent amount of locations becoming a full course. This is war. Lovely. I will be, assimilating everything that is yellow now just manually. I'm about to become a hegemon on culture. As soon as I do, or actually very soon, as soon as I do, I'm gonna just start assimilating the whole areas from that function. There it is. The Mount Ararat is now done. I'm pretty sure this is already... This proximity is already including this modifier. Obviously we are far from perfect, but remember it's still only 1504. We are still in technically early mid-game. This dynamic event seems like something not so good on the first glance, because it gives a privilege to ulema, gives him power, gives burghers power, and it's increasing amount of the clerics and burghers in towns and cities. But more burghers in towns and cities means more demand. More demand in the end means more base tax. More base tax means more taxes. So I'm actually gonna take the privilege. I don't know, Constantinople earthquake. How many people died? 180,000. 18,000 people just died. Before finishing the campaign, I want to take some advances from the printing press. Definitely the autonomous pashas for the proximity speed, paved road and cabinet seat. And I don't think I'll do much more, but there's a lot of other stuff that I should be taking in this age. I decided to move the local governor from Trabzon to Ankara, just as I promised earlier. See, it's working quite nicely, just like our overall proximity, which I'll improve even further with the money that I'm saving for a huge paved roads project. With extra taxation from the parliament, I'm having over 1,000 of positive balance. Just look at the amount of taxes. Unbelievable, guys. Eastern Roman Empire, my subject lost to rebels, these trains, which then got into Serbia. Holy mother of the border gore. I'll have to fix it myself. We should solve more of our own control of this terrain. We should look at market access and create new markets in the more reddish parts of the empire. For example, here in on the south, I would love to create a Bassa market. Decided to create markets in Hamedan. You see it's highlighted in the map. Hamedan, Baku, Ankara, and Basra. Let's see what's gonna be impact of all this. First of all, that's the new markets map mode. Looks much better. If you look at again at the access, it's still not perfect, but also much better. And if a location doesn't have enough market access, for each lost market access percentage, and they lose on their output of the buildings. How much money, like how much you produce actually over there. So take a look, it's 3,087, and with these few markets, we are up over 200 of tax base. You know, only my lure, he has good stats, but it's not a prodigy. But his son, and our heir, was a prodigy, and he's gonna take over the throne. Well, now we've got 1,000 of positive balance without even having the bonus from the parliament. Anyway, here's definitely where I'm finishing. You see, less than 210 years into the game, perfect Achaemenid Empire. Number 2 great power, obviously, after China, that is united. 5.4 thousand of base tax, 1.5 thousand of positive balance. These are our cultures. Look, this is Turkish. This is Armenian already. And this is Farsi. This is Athari that we had for a while. Georgian. This is Georgian. There's still some Georgian. Let me show you some map modes. So this is our cores. This is our base taxes for the country. Location ranks, so you can see the cities and towns. Our control. Look how nicely you manage that. Proximity. Lovely, right? Roads are pretty much all done. Markets. Location, cultures. Religions. Literacy. Antagonists, there's obviously none. Last action before we end. It wouldn't be a Persian run if we didn't go to the religion and we didn't change it to Zoroastrianism, which is 0.10% of our country. Let's give it a month tick. I don't think it actually has any mechanics. Yeah, look at that. There's absolutely nothing that it gives us besides the trade efficiency. So our trade income is up to 330. Yeah. So we are now Zoroastrian just for the end game roleplay. Actually, just also one more map mode, because obviously this is like all subjects having my color. If I change it to have blended instead, that's how it will look like. So I can like directly see which terrains I own and which terrains are in the hands of my subjects. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you'd like to see more of this kind of the campaigns where we stack values modifiers, and leave a subscription to get notified about the future videos.